So I just bought this little OBD2 reader off of Amazon for my car for about 23 bucks, and this reader pairs with an app that you can download for your iPhone or Android based phone, and the app connects to the reader via a Wi-Fi signal that this thing displays, and it'll help you read error codes that your car's throwing or just general information that your car's ECU can display to the app via the reader. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a first impression video of the reader and the app working together, and also just a general overall review of the two things. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So let's go ahead and first start with the reader itself. So this reader I bought off Amazon for, like I said, about 23 bucks, and it's called the ELM327 OBD2 reader, and it's just a Wi-Fi interface reader. So basically you plug this thing into your car's OBD2 port, and then via a Wi-Fi signal your phone can connect to this, just like, you know, your standard internet for your home or business or whatever, and then this thing can display all the information that your car's ECU is giving it to the app on your phone, and it'll give you gauge readouts, error code warnings, blah blah blah, stuff like that. So like I said, bought it on Amazon, $23, and there's the thing with this is, I mean, it's not like a name brand product. It's called the ELM327, and the app that you have to download for the iPhone or Android, they tell you specifically what kind of readers work for the app, and I'll get into that later when I talk about the app. But in terms of this is just kind of like a general product. There's no really name brand. It just says ELM327. And when you go on Amazon and you type in ELM327 in the search bar, there's going to be probably like 15 different ones that show up. So what I've heard is that there are good ones and there are bad ones that look pretty much identical, and they both say ELM327. The sticker might look a little different. But what I've heard is the ones that are a little bit cheaper in the price range, like around $10, $12 on the lower end, those are the ones that you want to stay away from, because those are the cheaper made ones that don't work as well. They either don't connect, or they lose connectivity quite often, or they just are very laggy in displaying the information to the app. So if you're looking at getting into this, I would fork over the extra, you know, 20 bucks or however much more it is to get the little bit more high-end one. Now, yet again, I haven't used this yet, so this may still not work, but this is just what I've heard via reading reviews on Amazon and other sites as well. So now that I've kind of talked about the little OBD2 reader, I'm going to go ahead and get into the app. I actually have to download it, so I'll go ahead and download it, and then I'll kind of do an initial setup of the app itself. One last thing, for those that don't know, OBD2 stands for Onboard Diagnostics. I don't know what the 2 stands for, but I know that's what OBD stands for. So it's just a way to help read information that your car is displaying, and a lot of car shops use these OBD2 readers to diagnose certain errors that are happening, whether it be the engine, check engine light, or other things like that. But a lot of OBD2 readers can range upwards of $80 to all the way up to $300, and so this is kind of a nice little cheap alternative way that may or may not work, depending on, you know, some cases do, some cases don't, so I'll just have to see. But hopefully it works well, and we'll get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the App Store here, and we'll go ahead and download this app. If it loads. Here we go. Okay, so what we want to do, so there's 2 different versions of this app. For the iPhone, it's called OBD, if I spell right, OBD2 Fusion. It's the first one here, okay? Let's see, get that in focus. Yeah, so there we go. It's OBD Fusion, and as you can see, it is $10. So all in all, with the reader and the app itself, you're going to be somewhere in the range of $30. And so they kind of show you what the general layout of the app looks like. So here are the gauges, the different gauges that the information can be displayed on. And then here's the just kind of main dashboard layout. And then it can also give you graphical readouts, like as you're driving, and then just error codes and settings and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pay for this, and then download it. I'm going to do buy, let's see, come on, internet. Can't see my password. I want you to see all my apps or buy a bunch of songs. Typed in the wrong password. So many different passwords for so many different sites. Okay. So it should, okay, so it started downloading, so I don't know how long it's going to take I don't know how big of an app it is, but I'll go ahead and catch up with you guys when it finishes downloading. One other thing, I mean, it seems that, you know, based on the reviews on the App Store here, it seems that most people find it pretty helpful, and mostly 5 stars. And then there's a few ones, mostly 4 and 5, so that's a good sign. So like I said, so for the iPhone, it's called OBD2 Fusion, but for the Android, it's called the Torque app. And I believe on the Android version, there's a free version and also a paid version. And I think the paid version will get you some more features and things of that sort. Okay, so it finished downloading here. I apologize if you see the little rainbow effect on my phone screen. That is my polarizer on my camera picking up my the screen and screen protector, and that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's see, you got a license agreement, yada yada yada. Who reads this stuff? No one. Okay, except, okay, so obviously we're not connected because the app is, or the reader's not plugged in. So I apologize if I'm not knowing what to do. This is my first time ever downloading the app. So okay, so no vehicles have been added. So I heard this is one thing that you have to do at first, is you have to actually add your vehicle. Select vehicle. Okay, that's not. Let's see, how do I add a vehicle? Settings. Log setup, vehicle editor. Yes, I understand no vehicles have been added yet. Alright, let me figure out how to add a vehicle, and then once I do that, I'll go ahead and catch up with you guys when I finish doing that. Okay, so I had to fiddle with it for a while. I couldn't get it to connect for a little while. I had to turn the car on so you can hear the car. And when I plugged the OBD2 reader into the port, which is underneath the dash, kind of by the trunk release and hood latch release, the lights on the OBD2 reader don't light up. So I don't know if it's supposed to do that or if it's not, but whatever. So I finally got the app to connect, and when it connects to your car for the very first time, it's going to give you a prompt to add this vehicle so it can remember it. So I'm just going to say Andrews having a hard time staying in focus here. Andrews C55. Okay, so gives you the VIN number, model. Okay, the make, you gotta input the model. C55, type sedan, fuel type gasoline, engine size 5.4. I'm trying to do this through the camera. 5.4 volumetric efficiency, I don't know that. And fuel calculation method, now we'll do it at mass airflow rate. Okay, fuel cost per unit. I don't know, what's the cost of gas right now? We'll say $3.20. Since I gotta buy premium. Okay, so I think that's everything. Okay, so once you do that, hit back. Okay, so as you can see, we're connected. It says here, and it also says right here where you see where you're normally connected to any other Wi-Fi. So let's see here. Let's go to diagnostics. Reading data. No trouble codes are detected. Well, that's good. That makes me feel good. Malfunction indicator lamp off. Okay. That's just telling me that one of my taillights is out and it's using like the backup taillights. Okay, let's do dashboard. Let's see how this works. It seems to be working pretty well. So it's got the engine temp, got the RPMs here. It's just at idle, so you know that's roughly. Yeah, that's about right. I'm looking at the gauge in the car. Got the mass airflow rate, fuel rate in gallons per hour. That's interesting. And then we got our battery voltage. Oh, and then we got vehicle speed, fuel rate, O2 sensor, O2 sensor 1, O2 sensor 2, fuel economy, instant fuel economy. Boost is not gonna be happening because the car is naturally aspirated. And so what you can do with this is, I've watched other videos, you can change dashboards and customize. So let's do add a dashboard here. So select add display from the menu to add new displays. Okay. So add display. What do we want? Radial gauge? Yeah, we want radial gauge. Okay. We got miles per hour. Miles per hour again. Oh, okay. So once you add the gauge, then you can change the display. Oh yeah, here we go. Item. So what do we want? Sensors. See, so these are all the different types of gauges that you can use. Ignition timing for number 1 cylinder. Wow. Intake air temp. Let's do that. Okay. Alright, so here's our intake air temp. It's at 150, let's say 153 degrees? Yeah, 153 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, let's add another one. I'll do another radial gauge. So like I said, once you add the gauge, then you tap on it, or you hold it, and then you can also move them around. So I'll do that in a second. Let's do style. Oh wow, so you can change the whole end angle, start angle, the needle. Wow, this is crazy. You can change the needle color, you can change the needle width, the background of the gauges. This is pretty cool. I'd say this is well worth the 10 bucks so far. Let's see. Alright, we'll change display again. So, oh wait, that's not what we want. Okay, so we'll do display configuration. Let's see here, what do we want for this one? Wow, this is crazy how much information you can put. Do absolute throttle position. Maybe we'll change this to digital. No. Change that to digital. Okay, cool. So that shows you the percent throttle right now. So I guess idle means we're at like 2% in terms of throttle, which I don't know if that makes sense to be there. Okay, so let's see, what else can we do here? So you can see, you can add, they have dashboards already laid out for you, which is really cool. And you can also make and customize your own. So like I said, you can actually move this guy around. You can change the size of it, so you can make it bigger, smaller. And then I think you can also, let's see, remove display, drag and move. So you can, yeah, so you can move these guys around. You can kind of overlay one over the other, like that. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but yeah, you can like move this around so it's like there. So this is pretty cool. So that's a little bit of the dashboard feature. Now I'm going to go ahead and go into the, let's see, monitors. Let's try monitors. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do something else. Oh, wait, there we go. Oxygen sensor data is not available. Okay, don't know why that is. Warning, some function of the fan, when the engine is running. Do you want to continue? No, rather not. Okay, so let's try maybe logs. Play. So these are like graphical representations that are live, you know, so this is happening as we speak. So we have, let's see, what is the y-axis? So the red line is mass airflow rate in pounds per minute, and the green line, which is not present because the vehicle is not moving, is the vehicle speed. So I guess this is a display of mass airflow rate versus vehicle speed. So that's pretty interesting, and I think you can change these. So let's, yeah, so you can change the axes and what you want to display here. You can change the time, legend, blah blah blah. Wow, so this is pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed so far. So you know, let's see, fuel economy, fuel rate, your accelerometers in the X, Y, and Z. I don't know why you'd want to do Z. I hope you're not going up and down a lot. Let's see, SAE PIDs. Don't know what that means. Short-term fuel percent, bank 1, bank 2, intake manifold pressure. try that. Cannot apply a new graph configuration while collecting. Okay, stop. Oh, okay, so you gotta stop it first, then go in and change it. Okay, so it already changed it there. What the heck? Okay, so now we actually have a vehicle speed, which is not right because the car is not moving anywhere, as you can see. Interesting. Okay, well, I mean, so this is also, so like I said, this is my first impressions here. So it's going to take some playing with and getting used to and trying different things and just kind of seeing how different things work and, you know, changing settings and blah blah blah. So maybe I'll do another follow-up video, but I also want to do a video of recording to see how accurate the gauges are while I'm actually driving. So I think what I'm going to do is I bought one of those spider podium mounts that like sticks in the air vent and then it like wraps around your phone. So I think I'm going to try and go for a little drive and show you guys and see, we'll test to see how accurate this is in terms of if it's laggy or not, because some people were complaining about that the app was laggy between the interface and also the well, the interface and the real time of what their car is saying. So I'm going to go ahead and test that next. So before I do the actual driving test, I thought I'd just kind of do like a static performance test to see the accuracy of the app here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the car some gas. And so this gauge right there, the 650, that's the engine RPM, and then the one right next to it is the MAF. So when I hit the gas, and don't worry, I'm in park, the MAF and also the RPM should jump up a little bit. So as you can see, it's pretty close. I mean, it's not like spot on, and I think that's to be understandable. It's just connecting via Wi-Fi signal. So, but as you can see, like, you know, you give it some gas and it's probably, you know, not even a second delay there. So that's pretty impressive for just a little $20 OBD reader and the $10 app that connects to it. And as you can see, the MAF and also the RPM jump up when I hit the gas. So let's go ahead and do a driving test and see how this works. Also, another thing, you can see that the fuel rate jumps up when I hit the gas a little bit, so that's working as well. Engine temp's not going to change a whole lot. So you can see the fuel rate changes. And it didn't change as much that time. So we're not getting any miles per gallon, so that's understandable. Let's see, boost is not going to do anything. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so I guess since we're not giving boost, it's just taking the vacuum pressure of the MAF. So you can see it's negative. So since this is a naturally aspirated car, the MAF is going to sense a negative pressure because it's a vacuum in the intake. So that's, I mean, it's working. I mean, it's sensing that. It's just, you know, I don't know how useful that is. Oh, now it. Okay, so I think the app just lost connection. Object reference not set to, and okay, so you can see we just lost connection. So I've heard that this is going to happen a few times. So you got to connect again. So it's connecting, reading vehicle. Okay, so now we're connected again. So that's, if you get this and it disconnects randomly, that's not abnormal. It does happen. So let's see here again. Okay, so now our boost is at 0, so let's see what happens. Are we still getting data here? Okay, so something happened. We're not fully connected. Okay, so it lost connection again. Interesting. Okay, so now it's... Okay, so now as you can see, it's reconnecting again. Connecting... So this is one thing that I heard that some people were complaining about, is that it randomly, yeah, so you're going to get this connection error, you got to retry. So this is one thing that I've heard, like I said, that people are complaining about, is that it does have some connectivity issues sometimes. So some people were trying to use this as they drove, and some people just wanted to use this in just to see, you know, error codes. But I think it'd be cool to use as you're driving to kind of see all the gauges work and stuff. So okay, so we're getting some readings here. Okay, so now we're back. Okay, so now we're connected again. Let's see if the fuel rate, are we changing there? That's not changing. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. O2 sensors are getting a reading. Is that voltage? Yes. Okay, so boost. Okay, so now it's sensing the vacuum again. Okay, so and then these are your accelerometers in your X and Y direction. So that's going to tell you your G's that you're going to be pulling in, but those units are feet per second squared. So instead of, okay, so I guess instead of meters per second squared, which is, I mean, G's is in gravity, so yeah, I mean, you can change the units. So what is this? This is the throttle position. So you can see the throttle position changes as I hit the gas. Our intake temp is not really changing, and obviously our vehicle speed isn't changing. So I think that's a little bit of a good overview of, let's see, it's lagging a little bit. It's a good overview of the gauges working in not moving anywhere. So let's go ahead and try while we're actually driving. All right, so I got my jerry-rigged tripod set up here. I got seat belts trying to hold it in place. So I'm gonna set this up, and then we'll go ahead and get driving to see how the app works then. Okay, so as you can see here, I got my Brefo Spider Podium mount. So what this does is that you fold forearms, you stick them into the air vent, and then you use the other forearms to hold your phone in place. So I heard these are really nice and just simple and easy to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this up on the air vent right here. Sure you don't break the little fins there behind the vent. That would not be good. Alright, so now you can kind of, so you can bend them in any way you want. Excuse my radar detector cord. So as I was saying, the app does like to disconnect a few times. Oh, that's going to be, okay. So the app does like to disconnect a few times, so that's going to be something to kind of just mess with and see how well I can get that to work without having it disconnect like all the time. Okay, so got our phone hooked up on the dash here. I'm going to go ahead and go for a ride, and we'll see how well the app does while we're actually driving. Okay, so it suffered some minor connection problems as I was driving, but it seems that it goes through periods where it works good, and then it kind of likes to disconnect and be shoddy. So I don't think that's the app. I think that's mostly the reader. So you could fork over some more money. There are some more expensive ones out there. I think there's a few ones for, you know, $50 and upwards to like $60, $70 that are a little more expensive, and they probably will give you some better results. But hey, for, you know, 20 bucks just for a little experiment, it's not a bad deal here. So first impressions while driving is the RPM and the MAF sensors, the MAF gauges are working quite well. Okay, it seems like we just lost connection again. So you can tell when you lose connection, the gauges stop working for a second. Okay, now we gain connection again. So you can see the RPM's working good, the speed's working good. It is a little bit of a delay. So now I just came to a stop, and it's probably like a second or so, maybe a little less than a second delay between it actually displaying the proper information. So it's not bad for, you know, I mean, a little reader, like I said, and it's gonna have some delay because it's just connecting via Wi-Fi. There is also a Bluetooth reader, but I don't know if that's any better. So let's see here how well this works. mean, it's pretty accurate. Speed, going about 40. Yeah, speed's pretty accurate. Fuel rate, every time I hit the gas, that changes. Battery voltage isn't really going to change much. We're at 12.7 volts. Let's see if the digital gauges work any better. So it says we're at 37, which is about right. It's giving us a fuel economy, instant and also total. So the instant's pretty cool. The total is going to take some time to kind of rack up some averages, but it seems that it's working pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. Like I said, this is my first time ever using this, so I apologize if I say the same things kind of over and over again, but you know, this is not bad. I'm pretty impressed. Let's see, let's see what the boost does. I'm curious, since this is, so it seems, yeah, so I mean, boost is going to be negative since, you know, it's an after aspirated car, and you know, when you apply more gas, you get less negative. Okay, lady, pull out right in front of me, thank you. Yeah, so when you hit the gas, you know, it just becomes less negative. So, okay, let's give it some juice here and see what happens. Well, okay, so since my camera rig is really janky right now and I can't do a whole lot of acceleration here, I'll just do a quick one, and the camera battery is on its way to die here in a second. So let's just do a little more. So I mean, yeah, it seems pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and let's do the logs, see how the logs look. So you can see the logs, they're giving you real-time information, and like I said, you can, oh wait, we gotta play it. So you gotta hit play. Okay, so now it's giving us real-time information over the course of, since we started playing it, of the mass airflow rate in pounds per minute, and then the vehicle speed. So the mass airflow rate's in red, and the vehicle speed is in green. So this is pretty sick. Like, it's almost like a moving dyno as you're driving. I mean, okay, so now we're slowing down here. So obviously everything's going nice and low on the graph. And as, okay, so that's weird, it jumped up again. I'm not going that fast. Interesting. So like I said before, you can change what it displays on the log here based on what you want. You know, some people want intake temp. You know, it's really useful for guys that are running superchargers or turbochargers, because you always want to keep track of your intake temp and your charge tube temperature, and this will give you that information so you can see that, so you don't overheat your car or your turbo or supercharger. I'm gonna hold the camera so that doesn't happen again. So you can see a big spike in the graph right there. I don't know if you can see it, I'm reflecting a little bit. So I just gave a nice acceleration to kind of spike the graph a little bit to see how it changes. So before my camera battery dies while I'm driving here, I have another one charged, and so I'll wrap up the video. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull in. I think it gave some nice impressions of, you know, what you can expect while you're using this. One thing though, I'll probably just mention this at the end, is it's gonna drain your phone's battery like no one's business. So we'll switch back to the gauges here, just get some. So I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm pretty happy with how this works in terms of, you know, just it being a little cheap $20 thing and then a $10 app. Okay, so it looks like just crashed or lost connection again. So as I just say, I'm really happy with it. Quite ironic. Okay, so we just got back from driving and testing out the app on the phone to see how it works with the OBD reader. And what are my overall impressions? You know, for 30 bucks, like I said many times while I was driving, it's not a bad deal. It does have its faults. It is a little bit laggy. You know, it can't be perfect though. I mean, it's just connecting via Wi-Fi, so it takes you know, there's probably a little bit of a delay between the data and displaying it. And then also it loses, the biggest thing is probably that it loses connectivity. I don't want to say all the time, but it is an often occurrence. So, you know, but if you can change on the phone to where it automatically reconnects itself after it loses connection. So that's one thing you can change on here, and so that, you know, if it does lose connection, it'll just reconnect itself and you don't have to worry about it as you're driving. One thing though is that since you're constantly running the phone's Wi-Fi, you know, back and forth and gathering data, you know, your phone's battery is probably going to get drained pretty quickly. So unless you have, you know, one of those battery cases to where you have exorbitant large amounts of battery storage on your phone, or you can just, you know, plug your phone in to and charge it while you're driving, then you won't have to worry about that. But if you're just using it with your phone's battery itself, you're going to drain your battery pretty fast. One last thing that I wanted to address was, you may ask, why is this necessary, or why would you want this? Well, there's really two reasons. One, you know, it's helpful if you're trying to diagnose error codes on your car. So if a check engine light comes on, instead of, you know, buying a, you know, $100 OBD reader, you can just use this and it'll tell you exactly what's wrong. Luckily, when I checked on my car, there was nothing wrong, so that made me feel good. But yeah, so that's one reason, is just to check error codes and stuff like that. So if you're having issues with your car and you need to figure out what's going on. The second reason is, I don't know about you, but me, I like seeing like gauges and data readouts and stuff like that. It's just kind of cool and nifty, especially when it's, you know, associated with your car. A lot of the new cars, like especially the Dodge Challenger, Charger, they have a whole like interface screen to where you can see all that data on the car itself. But, you know, those are brand new cars, 2015, 2016, 2014, and, you know, my car is from 2006, so anyone else that has a little bit of an older car to where they didn't have those features back in that time, you know, because 2006 was really when the whole nav thing started to come out. So the heads-up display, or not the heads-up display, but the nav screen and the whole media unit center is not anywhere close to being able to display all of those fancy data readouts. So it's kind of cool to see that on your phone as you're driving. So that's another reason, you know, if you just like to see data and different readouts, especially like the log graph, you know, it's plotting while you're driving. Don't get distracted though. So keep your focus on the road at all times. But yeah, so that's just kind of my overall first impressions and a little bit of a review of that OBD reader and the Fusion app, OBD Fusion on the iPhone. Like I said before, it's called the Torque app on the Android system or Google Play Store or whatever. So if you guys are interested, I highly recommend you know, just trying it out. It's only 30 bucks, not too bad. It's not like you're gonna, you know, blow 150 if you don't like it, but it's pretty cool. I like seeing all that data. So if you guys have any questions about the OBD reader or the app itself, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And if you guys haven't already, definitely subscribe for many more videos on my C55 to come, and more videos on the go-kart to come as well. And also some really cool footage from a car show that I will be going to this coming weekend. So thank you all again very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.